Jason Taumalolo, who has far and away been the best forward in the comp, if not the best player, he's chosen to represent his birthplace or his family ancestral home of Tonga rather than playing for the Kiwis. Now, I mean, I don't know enough about it to comment, but if he chooses to play for a place that he feels that his heart is from, I don't have a problem with it.
Something's happened within this New Zealand squad, or what's going on. You've got Jason going to Tonga, which good on him. I mean, representing the islands it's unreal for the world stage.
Yeah.
You know,
he's
making our game
best forward in the game.
Bigger, but the best forward. He's sacrificed a lot of money to play for Tonga, so there's a reason behind this. It'll come out over the next few days what's going on. Apparently, it's got to do with David Kidwell forgetting to put him on in a test match. He sat him on the bench for too long. There's rumours that it's got something to do with Bromwich and Kevin Proctor not getting picked. Now, there's rumours that Hargraves is not going to play. Now, New Zealand Rugby League were under a lot of pressure to do something about Bromwich and Proctor when they got done for whatever they did in the Anzac Test. I won't go into it. And they threatened to pull a lot of money out of New Zealand Rugby League. So New Zealand Rugby League had to do something about Kevy and Bromwich. So if they're going to be coming out and saying it's because it's them two, I think they need to look at the underlying factor of how much money New Zealand Rugby League were going to lose from the government if they didn't do something about that incident that happened in the Anzac Test. So there could be more to it. It'll come out over the next few days.
Yeah.
But what team are they going to beat? You got Bromwich not in there, Proctor not in there, Taumalolo now pulling out, Hargraves. You know, I'm not sure.
Tohu Harris, Kieran Foran.
Well, I don't know if Kenny Dow's going to play. You know, they won't even make the quarterfinals.
They won't get out of the pool. They will not get out of the pool.
Well, I hope they do, because, you know, they're the top three. They've won World Cups before. You know,
one of the things I think that the Rugby League needs to be congratulated on is in the rugby union, you play for a side. Like, for example, Jared Hayne played 13 seconds of sevens for Fiji, and then he was then classified as a Fijian player. He couldn't play for any other country for a period of, I think, 3 years. Now, what the Rugby League said is that if you have an ancestry from an island place or whatever it might be, you can play for that country in a World Cup without affecting your eligibility for... I think that's great.
I think it's a great concept, and I think it's a way to grow the game, because obviously rugby union is an international game.
Yeah.
You know, so we're nowhere near them. You know, let's not sugarcoat it. So we've got a lot of Polynesian players playing in the NRL at the moment, and you can't fit them into a 24-man squad for Australia or New Zealand, you know, and half of them, you know, Fijian, Tongan, Samoan, Cook Islands. It's great what they've done, because they've made Tonga, Samoa, Fiji so strong that they can get to the semi-finals. Like, Reni, in your last World Cup, you got to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, we got to the quarters against Fiji. They played against... Oh, we got beat by Fiji in the quarters, so they made it on to the semi-finals. So it is growing the game, but let's go back to the whole thing about Taumalolo. New Zealand Rugby League's a bit of a mess to come today, and they need to sort it out pretty quickly. Well, they need to... If it's David Kidwell that the players have problems with, then they have to figure that out pretty soon, because their World Cup campaign's going to be a joke.
If they have problems with the coach, get rid of the coach. Simple.
It has to be sorted this week.
It has to be sorted, because if you've got a player like Taumalolo, who's the best forward
in the game,
in the world at the moment, he doesn't want to play because there's rumours about him not getting on with the coach. Get rid of the coach.
So is it fair to say that if these players are choosing personal differences with the coach over actually representing their country, isn't that more of an issue with the players rather than the coach? I mean, shouldn't you play for your country regardless of who the coach is?
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful to the jersey. I think the jersey means a bit more than the coach. Would you agree?
It should, 100%.
You know, like, if it is a problem with the coach, like, don't play it out through the media. Like, just go and sit down with Kitty and say, this is my issue I have. I'm thinking about playing for Tonga, or I'm thinking about not playing at all. Just sort it out that way. Keep it in-house, you know?
You don't see any Aussies giving up their jersey.
I wouldn't give up a jersey.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, you're seeing like players like Kieran Foran, now Taumalolo, Hargraves, Tohu Harris. There's, you know, Isaac Luke's gotten dropped. You know, there's obviously some turmoil within that country, and something needs to be. There's some big issue going on there. It's either the coach or the administration or New Zealand Rugby League. We don't know, but I mean, like, you can't have half your squad drop out and have these little rumours, because where there's smoke, there's fire. Have all these little rumours floating around about the coach and all this kind of stuff. Your best forward leaves, wants to play for Tonga. doesn't care about the money, doesn't care about the jersey, or he wants to
What
go
do
represent
coaches
his.
do at international level? I mean, by the time you start playing for your country, I'm not being disrespectful to international coaches, but at the end of the day, surely you can turn up, make sure everyone's on the team bus, go, here's a minor game plan.
That's
run
what
hard,
happens.
tackle.
I mean, being in a lot of rep teams, you don't really coach the Aussie side. It just gets you coach yourself. I mean, you got Cameron Smith there, Billy Slater, JT usually. I mean, Darren Lockyer was there, Andrew Johns, Gordon Tallis, all these great players. I got to play with Danny Badiris. You just go out there, you do your ball work, you make sure everything's spot on. You don't overcomplicate anybody's mind because you just go out there and play football. But that's with the Australian side. I don't know over the New Zealand side. It's different, man.
But the thing about David Kidwell is that he was a very passionate Kiwi and played extremely tough, and he put you on your ass in the test that I played in. Broke your cheekbone.
Suck him then!
But I'm saying that's what he brings, his passion to that jersey, and put everything else aside. They've got enough players within that squad, if they want to play for New Zealand, to give it a good shake. So we just hope that New Zealand get everything in order and just put the best side out.
All the names that we've mentioned that aren't playing, put them in that New Zealand side. Like, regardless of the Bromwich and Proctor, like all them, Tohu Harris, Hargraves, Taumalolo, Kieran Foran, Isaac Luke, like that's a ridiculous side. And I was picking New Zealand to sneak one off us again, or to definitely be in the final. Now people are going to be saying they're not even going to get out of their group, and that's New Zealand Rugby League is something that they don't need, because the last 10 to 12 years they've dusted us up in a World Cup. They've got us into Four Nations. You know, New Zealand Rugby League is at its peak.
And it's important that Rugby League grows in New Zealand, because the crop that comes out of there are unbelievable. The genetics of the players over there, you know, Taumalolo, all them guys, it's important that this isn't detrimental to the Rugby League moving forward in the country, because we need the Kiwis to be strong.
Well, how can it be, though?
It's going to be. There's no doubt.
It's not playing. It has to be.
Sorry, there's no doubt that it'll be detrimental to their growth in the next 5 to 6 years, because why all these young kids that are probably 15, 16 going, why is Taumalolo not playing for New Zealand?
Can you imagine one of the All Blacks doing it?
Can you imagine what any Aussies or anybody like dropping out of any of them teams? It doesn't happen, mate.
All that aside, it's great for Tonga and Rugby League to see.
It's great for Tonga
jersey,
anyway. Maitua Tonga.